Hello Hornby fans and welcome to another Beyond the Buffers podcast. Today I'm going to be joined by Pete Waterman as we talk about his upcoming exhibition and his huge layout. So I got to travel up to see Pete at his home and get a closer look at his layout. Take it away, Pete. So Pete, thanks so much for joining us at Beyond the Buffers. We are... Have you done a podcast before?
No, this is Beyond the Pale here. Beyond the Buffers. Yeah.
Have you done a podcast before?
No,
No?
not at all.
So we've
done radio interviews.
Yeah,
I suppose they're
pretty much the
podcasts.
same. So
The BBC would like you to believe they are.
So we've travelled up to your layout to see this massive, enormous layout that you've got currently in pieces, but we can see a part of it just beside us here. Tell us a little bit more about what we got in front of us.
Well, this is Making Tracks 2. Last year we did 1 at Chester Cathedral. It was such an enormous success. We've gone back with a new layout, which is basically further up the west coast. So the original was from Watford to Road in Northamptonshire. This year it's from Kilsby, which is that tunnel there, to just short of Rugby.
Right. And what was the reason behind choosing that as the next?
Well, I travel it 3 days a week, and I've done it for 60 years. So if I don't know that route, nobody does. And I just think it's also really, really interesting because, everybody does, on their model railway, they use towns and things like that. And yet our railway is basically a rural railway. It's in the middle of countryside.
Yeah. I mean, just looking here, you can see how much countryside is alongside it.
Yeah, so I just thought that we'd do something slightly different and do the railways in the countryside, which was hugely successful last year. I think I might have sort of had a brainstorm this year because we didn't realise how big a task this was this time.
Yeah, I was going to ask.
As we're doing this, we're only 1 week away from actually starting to assemble it in the cathedral.
Yeah.
And this morning we've come up with 3 snags that we didn't know about. So
what were those? If you don't,
well, they're tensioning issues,
right,
on the overhead catenary, and we'll get round them. But at the minute we don't know how to. Aaron, who does the overhead catenary, is a train driver, so he's on duty at the minute, so we can't speak to him. But it's a bit, disconcerting when we've only really got three days really. We'll sort it, but I could do without it.
Yeah,
I've had enough stress on this layout.
And what about then? You've got to transport it. I presume that can sometimes cause issues once you.
No, actually, Dave, who does all the carpentry, he made these layouts for years, and they are bomb-proof. I mean, he's a pain up the butt, but he gets it right.
Yeah.
So they all fit together, as you can see. Last year's, they stack.
Yeah.
So we use 2 lorries, do 2 journeys because we're only around the corner from Chester. They lock together. They won't fall over, and as long as Dave's there when they arrive, they'll go up smashing because he's absolutely fixed in the way that you put them up because he plans them the way that they work. So no, we don't have any trouble.
That's good.
Yeah.
So then how many pieces will it break down into overall?
It's an 8-foot length, so there's it's 64 feet broken down, so you can work that out yourself. I think it's 8. But there's 8 scenic boards.
Yep.
There's 8 non-scenic boards, which are obviously the side ends, and there's 2 cross boards,
right,
which join it because it's around and round. Which the first thing that people are shocked is that it's around and round because when they've read about it, they normally quite normally assumed it was a end-to-end layout.
Yeah.
But it isn't. It's around and round. So
which is even more impressive.
Well, it's more high risk because you've got 64 feet on the front, 64 feet on the back. That's 128 feet plus 24 feet. you're looking at 150 feet all round, and the locos are doing it 5 times an hour.
Yeah.
So.
And so after you did your exhibition number 1, when you came away from that, after having a bit of a cup of tea and a relax, what made you then think, do you know what, we're going to do this again, we're going to do it bigger?
Well, we saw the enthusiasm for the kids, and what we instantly got, the interest for us was like, I go back to 1952 to my first model railway exhibition, which was at the Jaguar Social Club or Jaguar Model Railway Club Christmas running session.
Right.
And just to watch trains run round, that's what got me.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, when I saw the kids at the Chester Cathedral, it was the same to me. It was, I get this. The kids can, this is what it's all about.
Yeah.
So we really talked about that. I talked to the dean. I said, look, we're not precious. We want to bring people to the model railway skills because it's great for mental health.
Definitely.
And it's great for learning. So we have a lot of people around us that have learning difficulties that don't have skills difficulties.
Yeah.
So you can teach them to do things that are really, really clever, and they appreciate it.
Yeah.
Because, they're too often just too much trouble to be bothered with, particularly in a modern education system.
Yeah.
So we came up with this idea, or Phil did, where we will give the kids tablets.
Right.
And they will run the railway themselves.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
That's...
we've gone to the Z1 system, the ROCO system. It's very simple, very easy to work. Obviously, we do have control. So, if somebody doesn't quite understand what signals do, we can show them what they do. But it's that hands-on experience and getting kids involved.
Yeah, which is so important.
Yeah.
And, any model enthusiasts of a certain age will remember, like you're saying, that initial experience they had with model rail as a young child and how different that experience feels for a young child.
It's when that child turns around to their granddad, because they've invariably come with their granddad.
Yeah.
Like, Granddad, can we get your train set out the loft? That means we've won.
Yeah.
Well, that's a convert. That's a convert.
Yeah.
But all the other comment that you hear all the time, I've got one of those in my loft. It's about time I got it out. Converted.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
And we had some people that went, but just going round and round and round. And we went, yeah. And what do model railways do? They go round and round and round.
Yeah.
But they're scale trains, which you don't normally see on the layout.
No.
So we got 11 car Pendolinos, and they're doing scale speeds. So we've made sure that none of the speeds are silly.
Yeah.
So, when we've got some of the new stuff, I remember when the first Pendolinos came out in Avanti, we got some from Hornby, and we just tested them, how fast they were actually going. I think we timed them at about 195 miles an hour. Well, it suddenly didn't get around the corner. I think we caught it. And that's our only compromise, really.
Yeah.
Keep them running, keep them... if they've got sound, keep the sound. Blow the whistle every now and again. If they've got lights, flash the lights.
Yeah. But what's good is because obviously kids nowadays, they're used to tablets, they're used to technology at a very young age. You're bringing them in with that, giving them this experience that is tangible.
But instead of saying this is imaginary, this is a mojo on your... Yeah. There's the real one. You're doing that. Look, that's you.
Yeah.
This isn't somebody who's done a drawing and animated it. You're driving that.
Yeah.
And the kids get fascinated, as I think most of us do, or certainly I do, with the signals, the way they change, and the constant. And when we came to doing this layout, one of the things that came very obvious to us in Chester 1 was movement was very important. And we had tunnels, so trains would dive into a tunnel, kids would fly to the other end, and it'd not come out.
Oh, really?
It'd go round the back,
right?
And they would stand there for minutes looking for this train. What are you standing there for? Well, the train when it's not come out. Oh, that must have been a derailment. Of course, it got round the back.
Yeah.
And I just thought, movement, up, down, flyovers. I know the right spot to make a model railway of, Clifton Road Junction.
Yeah.
It's the fastest part of the West Coast. It's just south of Rugby. It's magnificent because it comes out of Rugby, the Pendolinos. I remember I was on the very first one that did the 120 miles an hour after they sorted the kink in Rugby out.
Oh, right. What was that like?
Frightening.
Yeah.
Because it misses the wall by 2 inches. So, you're
a braver man than I am, Pete.
Well, everybody is, up to this point, they said it couldn't be done, but technology allows you to do that. It tilts, but it gives you, it can manage the tilt. And I guess it was hairy for 12 months for the drivers, but nobody even thinks about it now.
Yeah.
But when you see that Pendolino come through that effectively tunnel where the Northampton line goes over it, when it shoots out there, that's impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's even impressive on here. And when you get two passing and one going over the top, it's what model railways are all about. It's what you stand by the rail side watching trains for hours and never happens. You can conjure up, you can make sure that scene that you envisage, you make it happen.
Yeah.
You can make it happen. You can plan it. Sometimes it takes a while to actually get together, but you can do it.
And you were showing me earlier a system through where the kids can see kind of where
the whole point
LEDs.
was, there will be a big monitor just here that actually they will see the train moving, and they will understand where they are. They will be able to spot their train exactly like a real train driver.
Yeah.
Or a signalman. And there's one for that'll go behind this, which shows the people who are standing at the back watching the fiddle yard.
Yeah.
And there'll be one at the back showing the people that stand at the front what's happening on the front.
Yeah.
So now we haven't worked it yet. We know it works because we've tried it, but we're on prototype 3 now.
Right.
Because we just weren't happy with the quality. There's 199 sensors on the layout.
Wow.
Well, it's a big layout.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the other thing that we didn't really think about, we're very lucky that we didn't think about it. The catenary is, disc catenary is very expensive.
Yeah.
Very expensive. This we make ourselves. This is all handmade.
Yeah.
And we make everything, the arms and everything. This we buy in. It's an excellent product. But
the amount of
it's 1,500 quid.
Yeah. And then
how many people can afford 1,500 quid?
Yeah.
You've got to be realistic and say £1,500 is beyond most people's pockets for a model railway.
Yeah.
And for just 10 arms, it's 100 and something pound. Well, if you can see 10 arms gets you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's your layout.
Yeah.
It's like it becomes modelling modern railways becomes really quite expensive.
Yeah. And
difficult.
Yeah.
Because everything's in units.
Yeah.
All freight trains are in block sets.
Yeah.
So you can't buy one, you've got to buy 15, 20.
Yeah.
The manufacturers don't play fair with us when they issue their wagons. If you're not in and ordering immediately, but when you want the wagons, they're gone.
Yeah.
And you can't get them.
Yeah.
And they're being sold at twice the price on the internet, which is very frustrating.
Yeah. But then I suppose by you doing this and giving people a chance to come and see that, they can get a taste of that.
But if you go, for instance, our real big thing this year is the container traffic, because we've got a train that's a mile long.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And when you see it, it's 35 wagons or 40 wagons. Well, I had to buy all those second hand.
Yeah. Because you can't get them.
You can't get them.
Yeah.
And they're expensive because people know, particularly the pocket containers, really, really expensive. And you just go, crikey. You know. Sorry about this. I was just going to say kink.
I can see it as well. I can see your... is that part of the
That's just a
issue
kink.
with you? Oh, just a kink that you can... So what's that made out of then? That's just...
This is copper wire.
Okay.
But you buy this. I mean, it's all part of the kit.
Yeah.
I mean, you couldn't make it. There's no question you couldn't make it. But then you've got to put the tension in. It's... Honestly, it's a lot of work.
And it's so small and detailed, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I know they've done it on the continent for years. And we haven't. But as I say, I think for most UK modelers, the fact that it's 100 and some quid a box, and I'm not knocking the quality of the product at all, to me, it's I can understand it. But if your young kid Michael goes home from the cathedral and says, "Dad, let's put the catenary up," and he's got an 8 by, let's just say he's got 8 foot board. When his dad sees he's got to spend 110 quid just on the on the the catenary. Well, Michael ain't getting a model railway.
Yeah. So it's bridging that
gap
so that people can get in.
It's like saying to everybody, pick something you can build up to.
Yeah.
Just build naturally. Don't try and sort of... I've got a great friend who's very, very, very ill at the moment, unfortunately, but he's a very dear friend who has got the most wonderful railway room I've ever seen.
Yeah.
He's O gauge, and he is a fabulous enthusiast. He's put down and taken up his railway more times than anybody I've ever known.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to know, you've got to have some idea of what you want, or you never achieve anything.
Yeah, and you've got, like you said, you've got to build to that, because this comes with so much experience, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, my mate, he's never, ever, well, unfortunately, he's never going to finish it. That's bottom line. But he wouldn't have ever finished it even if he was well.
Yeah.
Because he'd have got to one point. I mean, I said to him, Al, I don't know why you don't build bloody Clapham Junction, because that's what you really want.
Yeah.
That was... I mean, he thought about it. I was joking. He actually thought about it. Al, I don't think you can build Clapham Junction, pal.
How many platforms is Clapham Junction?
It's not just that, it's the amount of points.
Right.
You're probably talking about 250, 300 points.
Yeah.
I mean, the wiring and well, it's just impossible, the width.
Yeah.
You even, and he's O gauge, so you're probably talking 55 feet wide.
Yeah. Probably not. It would take years, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it's impossible.
Yeah.
It is impossible, yes, because you literally can't reach over. You can only build a railway as far as you can reach.
Yeah.
So you can have a little, like a stand that you can reach and get an extra 3 feet. But we found that with our O gauge railway. We had great intentions, but we made it 14 feet wide. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
You can't reach 14 feet. So you can reach 6 feet. So you've actually got, I think you can reach about 5 foot. So you've got about 4 foot you can't play with.
Yeah. So what was the most difficult thing for you on this layout, would you say?
Oh, the viaduct.
Yeah. Yeah, you were talking about that earlier.
Yeah. Gradients are really difficult to model.
Yeah.
Yeah, because, and this is where, you have a problem with model railway history. Always in the past, in the Hornby magazine or the Triang magazine, they always loved a flyover. And they built them ramps, which were, whether it was I don't know whether it was Tricks, whoever it was, had to have a flyover with a bridge, which is all very well if you've got sort of 8-9 foot of rail, and you're using 2 foot 6, 3 foot curves. But when you're trying to make a railway that looks balanced, and I say looks, because you can't make a railway at scale, it's impossible.
Yeah.
Right? Because some points nowadays on the modern railway are a mile long, which in scale is basically 50 feet.
Right.
So, we'd have one junction.
Yeah.
So when you come to look right, when we really looked at it, now you've got to go up sort of only 4 or 5 inches in 00. But to get that lift and to get your locos to get up there, I tell you, you're talking 25, 30 feet.
Really?
Now, how many people have got 30 feet? And it's got to be bang on.
Yeah.
You can't, because when we first did it, we had a ski slope. It went whoosh. And so, it was like, whoa. And that's how you learn. You look at it and you go, Christ, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It just goes up like that. So we've got to bring it back another 6 foot. So gradually, you get the gradient. And then you think, well, Christ, it's a 64-foot layout with a 35-foot viaduct.
Yeah.
Actually a model of viaduct. But it looks right.
Yeah.
And it's a feature that I've never seen before in 00. I've seen Cliff's Gresley Beat, which he has walls, and I've seen the Model Railway Club's Copenhagen Field, which does have the same, has climb overs. That's 2 mil, obviously, and I think they are the best layouts, that I've seen on the circuit. I mean, I think that Copenhagen Field is, like Pendant, up there to be admired.
Yeah.
And they've got around it very cleverly, but when you're as exposed as this, and the biggest problem we've got 6 months.
Yeah.
You've only got 6 months.
Yeah.
You got to build everything from scratch in 6 months, which is honestly, it's a real difficulty.
Yeah.
It's a monster task. We've got a great team. Everybody, we have a lot of banter. We have a lot of fun. Yeah, we have a lot of banter. A lot of fun.
So how many of you are there in the team?
There's about 8 or 9 of us.
Yeah.
There's a few more. We got a lot more. We got a lot of members came after last year.
Yeah.
Came to the cathedral to operate, and then said when we told them we're doing more, can we come and help you? So we've got 2 or 3 of those guys.
Yeah.
Got Peter who's retired, so he comes every week, and we've got a couple of signalmen and the captain of a tug. He comes. And it's great. I mean, it's. And what I think is the most important thing was when you see a project that's as big as this, you work away, and you work away, and you work away, and you work away, and then suddenly it comes together.
Yeah.
And there's that magic point when you stand back and you go, fantastic. And once you reach that point, you know you're not finished, but you know that you're sort of on the right track.
Yeah. Have you had those moments where you go away in the evening, you come back in the morning, you switch on the lights, open up, and you think, "Oh wow, okay."
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, quite a few times. In fact, even this morning, when Phil come in, he said it looks really great.
Yeah.
Because we're seeing it now, nearly finished.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I've done some more stuff today. I put some flowers in the. Well, Paul did that actually, but I started to put all the, the limited clearance signs and the speed restrictions on.
Yeah.
And adding that colour makes a big difference. It's subtle,
yeah.
but it's,
Well, I mean, I've made a tiny layout before, just from seeing how people make it and things like that, and to see it on this scale is.
Well, this is industrial modelling.
Yeah.
This is industrial modelling, and we've got everything. We've got laser machines, casting machines, 3D machines. There's nothing we haven't got.
Yeah.
So we use the latest technologies to do everything, and we've got Phil and a couple of other guys who are absolutely techno wizards.
Yeah.
So 3D printing is not a problem for us.
Yeah.
We've been doing it for 25 years, so we can do anything we want. We also know the limitations of 3D printing, which a lot of modelers haven't yet learned.
Yeah.
They will. Oh yes, they will. They'll find what the problem is with resin. Particularly 2 years or 3 years in, they'll see that their model.
Designers have said a lot about 3D printing and.
They'll see what happens is they warp.
Mm.
All of the resins that we use in inexpensive machines warp.
Mm.
If you don't want the warp, you go to a really expensive machine, and the resin itself is hugely expensive, like £700 a kilo.
Yeah.
And for a big job, particularly in O gauge, it can take up to a week. So you're talking about a machine that's cost 120 grand.
Yeah.
The resins cost you nearly £1,000.
Yeah.
And it's on 24 hours a day for a week.
Yeah. Energy.
Okay. That's what you have to. That's what you have to think about.
Yeah.
And then we go and buy a 200 quid machine and expect you to do the same.
Yeah.
No.
No.
We use it for certain things. It's great. So, for instance, nobody's ever done the ton bags on the railway before.
Right.
And we thought, well, they're all over the railway nowadays. The whichever builder's merchant it is. So you'll see that there's none down this section. They're not working down here, but they are on the other section. There's ton bags all the place. And everybody comes in and says, "What are those white things?" We're ton bags. Oh, yeah. You show them the picture and you go, "Oh, they're everywhere."
Yeah, but that's it, isn't it? The details that you can get. And
Yeah.
That's what I love particularly about is seeing those tiny little details that you don't see at first.
Well, the first thing everybody asks us is what these yellow things are. You can see them behind you. See that?
These ones.
Yeah.
So I'll ask the question. What
Well, they're wheel counters.
Oh, okay.
They're wheel counters, and we put them on the first layout. They caused a sensation.
Yeah.
I mean, people were saying, "What are those?" We go, "Well, they're wheel counters," because, and then that led us, because a lot of us are train drivers or ex-railwaymen. You got the tail lamps, and we don't need tail lamps. We've got wheel counters. So the wheel counter tells the signal one whether all the wagons are still there.
Yeah.
And all the wheels are good. Yeah. That sees you in and sees you out of a section. So signalman knows you're a complete train.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Yeah. And we've chucked a couple of strange signals in on the last layout deliberately.
Yeah.
And we got a lot of railwaymen saying, "What's that signal?" And you go, "Oh, well, that's this." And they go, "Well, I've never seen one." And you go, and they go, "Oh, I've never seen one of them." And then they go, "Come to think of it, you're right. There was one just out." And I went, "Where's this?"
Yeah.
Just outside.
Yeah, I mean that's it, isn't it?
And that's
what
what's
things that you probably wouldn't have expected that was what people would.
No, because it's unusual. Because we'd used a little bit of our nous to do something a little bit unusual that you could do. It wouldn't be typically right, but it could.
Yeah.
So a driver would say straight away, "That's wrong." No, it's not. But that would go to, that you've got no amber. There's no amber required. Red and green. No, you've got to have an amber.
Yeah.
No. This is an intermediate section, and if the next signal is at amber, this one's at red.
Yeah.
And so when that goes to green, this goes to green. He can't get past here because it's a short section. Well, where do they exist? I said, try North Wales, all over the shop. So, that was good. And then I think that got a particularly interesting response
Yeah.
from railwaymen particularly. Went, hang on a minute, these guys have done a bit of research here.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and then I think that people that are serious about the railways, they take it all a bit more serious.
Yeah.
They do. They take it. They see you've put the time in. They've turned up.
Yeah.
With all their mates. Kevin's was the old Royal Train Inspector, so a lot of his drivers all turn up to see Kevin. They all go down to the pub together, and so they were at the cathedral a few times. And of course, what it becomes a quiz.
Yeah.
Because everybody's sitting there going, "Okay, I've got a yellow light, and it's a green light and a blue light." And you go, "What on the dashboard of an engine does that tell you?" You're thinking, "This is just crazy." But that's these guys have probably been retired 20 years.
Yeah, yeah.
And, they miss work. And so when they come to the cathedral or they see a layout that's based, I mean, all of Kevin's driver fans all knew this layout, or the last one, inside out. I mean, they've driven it for 45 years.
Yeah, yeah.
They spotted it straight away. I mean, instantly they tell you. And they tell you of numerous incidents that had happened along the way.
Oh wow! Yeah.
Yeah. So you learn more.
Yeah.
Did you know there was a pub up there? It used to be great. This was there. This was there. Oh, I had a bit of a mishap there. So, so it is it's a piece of nostalgia, but it's good that it can sort of give people comfort when they've lost. They're not working anymore. Particularly railwaymen, they love work.
Yeah,
they're passionate workers. And even in the music industry, I don't remember people bringing cameras to work.
No, really?
No, but I tell you what, every driver I knew took a camera. Well, not every driver, but lots of drivers and railway guys took cameras to work.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And so, when you start, how obviously you said you journeyed up and down these railways for years.
I've done more miles. My argument is I've done more miles than any driver in history on this railway. Because I've done, I'm 76, 75, nearly 76. So I've done basically 50 years on this railway up and down, and no railwayman could have done 50 years.
Yeah.
Because he would have had to train, he would have to get his positions. So, Kevin, how long did you drive the West Coast? How many years?
West Coast?
Yeah. For Virgin and that, and BR before, obviously.
Oh well, altogether 52 years, 51 and a half.
51 and a half. So, I'm up there with guys like Kevin that did. And of course, when Kevin retired, you didn't have to retire.
Oh, okay.
So we got railwaymen that did 70 years,
right,
which would never have happened before.
Wow.
So, yeah, I class myself as knowing this route as well as any railway employee.
But then I assume you go from your initial knowledge of it, and then how do you make sure that this is as close as it can be as possible? And how close would you say this is to?
It's anal.
Yeah.
We are anal.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Are you looking at?
Oh God, we watch train driver journeys every week.
Yeah.
Okay. Every week for the last 6 months, we've been watching freight from Ditton to, can't remember where it goes now, it's Crewe somewhere, Euston to Rugby to Northampton, every week. In fact, as you came this morning, I'm just watching it to get where all the speed restrictions and all that is. So what we've done is we've picked the most prominent parts that you see in those journeys and that I remember as I'm looking out the window. To get it accurate, we watch them videos.
Yep.
And then you can't be dead accurate because you can't. You've cheated.
Yeah,
You know,
of course.
this is the A5. The A5 is further away from Kilsby Tunnel than this is, in
Yeah,
truth. But you put your things in rough,
Yeah.
you know, in a rough balance.
Yeah.
So it's not scale in that set, but it conveys the impression that it's scale.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I know if you stood there between there and there, everything that's on the real thing is modelled in there,
Yeah.
albeit squashed in.
Yeah. Yeah.
In fact, I've missed a couple of things actually in there, which I might put in before the end of this, only because it's getting a bit crowded in there. But there's the power lines are actually on things like this that go into the tunnel, and it's a bit crowded in there, you know. So I sort of thought, if I've got time, I'll do it.
Yeah. Yeah. So then, how long is the layout going to be available for people to come in? How long is the
We're there
exhibition
7
going on?
weeks.
Right.
We're there the whole school holidays.
Oh wow.
We're there from the Monday the 18th till September the 3rd.
Yeah.
And I have to tell you, that is a marathon.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
Not only for the operators, because it is hard work,
Yeah.
but for the rolling stock, it's enormous.
Yeah. How do you maintain that?
Well, we don't,
Yeah.
in truth. We keep the track clean. And last year we didn't even have any track cleaners.
Oh right.
No, we didn't have track cleaners last year. Pendolino last year, we think did 57 real miles. Our HSTs did, we think, 56.
Right.
Our steam engines, Simon sent us a couple of spam cans. They must have done 60 miles. Real miles, not model.
Yeah.
And nothing failed.
Really?
Nothing
Wow.
failed at all.
That's great.
Nothing failed at all. In fact, the only stuff that we had any problem with was stuff that people loaned us that they buggered about with.
Right.
Okay. If we just got the model from Hornby,
Yeah.
just put it on the track, put a chip in, didn't muck about with it, it ran bloody perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, we got the first tilting train that came in. Simon sent it to us.
Yeah.
We took it out of the box, we put 2 chips in it. We realised it was doing about 230 miles an hour, but it never stopped.
Wow.
Never stopped. I mean, we got a couple of little issues that we'd done because we didn't realise the chip situation. But once we put that right, the kids absolutely adored that.
Yeah.
Because we kept it quite fast.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it was supposed to be the new train, and when they come through, it's all lit up, and they loved that. But it probably did 50 miles.
Yeah.
And they're all going again this year, those.
Yeah, I was going to say, what are you running?
No,
this
we're
year?
running the same.
Yeah.
We've got less guests this year.
Right.
We've got a lot more new trains. And we've concentrated particularly on containers this year. So we've got a lot of less small trains and so this year we've got 2 Pendolinos and we've got 4 350s and we've got 2 Voyagers. So we've got a lot more this year. But certainly the HSTs from last year, the Voyager from last year, the high-speed train from last year, the steam engines from last year, they'll all be running again this year.
Oh, no.
Now these
I was going to ask what you...
right, so this is certainly a lot older than you. Okay? We use these to test the layout,
Oh, okay.
right? And I've had these since 1967.
Really?
Yep. And you can see one's got plastic wheels and one's got the new metal wheels for the period. But I test...
Would you mind if I took a look?
Yeah,
Yeah,
so,
right.
I mean, I test these...
Why did you choose these then, to use these to test?
Because look, I've kept them. They're as good as I bought them at the box. I mean, I didn't keep the box, but they are. They're just.
you wouldn't even know that
No, I mean they're not up to
that old.
They're not,
are they?
but they're not up to what you're issuing now.
No,
Hornby, or any stretch of the imagination. But for the year when these came out, these were really state of the art.
Yeah.
You know, and I compared with my original Triang set of 53. You know, you're only talking 10 years later.
Yeah.
This was a real step in the right direction. You know.
So they'll be running again to test out.
No.
Have you done any tests?
Oh no,
for
we've
them
done
yet? Yeah.
not yet.
No.
But we've tested all these won't go with us to the cathedral because I don't want them damaged. We can't test it till we get to the cathedral.
No, of course.
Because we haven't got any room.
Yeah, you've got to. Yeah.
So we've tested the sections,
Yeah.
but you can't test it all together
Yeah.
until we get to the cathedral. It's not as bad this year as last year. I mean, to be fair, last year was I think I shudder when I think back to last year. I mean, we hadn't got digital. We didn't even put the digital in.
Oh, really?
Until we got to the cathedral. We'd wired it for digital, but we hadn't actually tried it. And so the Chester Club had supplied a guy who was brilliant with digital, and two guys at the club came and said they'd fit it all up for us. And I had an old Zemo system that's now 20 years old. And we plugged it in, and it was that dreaded moment you've always feared. Don't work.
Yep.
Didn't panic. I said, what do you mean, don't work? Doesn't work. There's a dead short. I said, that's a great thing with digital because you can, by unplugging all the boards,
Yeah.
the minute you lose the short, you know that's where it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we went along and we found, boom, gone. Great. So this board. So honestly, this is a true story. We searched for an hour to find where the fault was on this.
Really?
Yep. An hour. We went through it with a fine-tooth comb. I mean, we were on the point of like despair when one of the lads from the Chester Club, Paul from the Chester Model shop, came over and he went, I don't wish to be funny. Is there any reason why you've got your black and red wires reversed on this board? And we went, no, we haven't. He went, at one end, they're on the inside, and this end, they're on the outside. And we went, what? And we remembered that one of the boards we had wired up outside in the sunshine, upside down.
Right.
So we'd reverse the wires. So all we had to do was reverse the wires. And it worked.
After an hour of...
Yeah, well, it was good because, it was like, if that's the only problem,
Yeah.
the argument was, how were we so thick that we didn't spot that one end of the 8 foot, the black was on one side, and at this end it was on the other side. How come we not spotted that?
Then I guess it's the thing of when you know so much, you don't consider that as a simple possibility. So okay, I know it's got to be the short.
Obvious.
Yeah. Like when the IT man says, "Have you turned it off?" and
switch it off.
Back. Yeah.
Switch it off, it'll sort it.
So then after the 7 weeks, it's after it's done, what will happen to this layout?
At the moment, we've got a tentative venue to put this and last year's together to form one big layout. It's not quite as easy as that.
Yeah.
So we would have to modify a little bit of the layout, but we can do it. And so we've said yes to the venue because to find a venue that can take 128 feet it's pretty big. So, but we've got one, and they've said they'll do it, and they're big major sponsors, so that's great.
Oh, that's great.
The challenge we've had is that there's no stations.
Yeah.
I don't care. I'm Levinson Spa. That's my layout. That's all station.
Yeah.
So I wanted to build the West Coast. So what we've been challenged to do, and Phil, our boffin, has taken up, he's actually said, I jokingly said, you should never jokingly say anything. If I'm going to build a station, I'm going to build Milton Keynes. Okay. Because there's two reasons why that is. I think it's the most amazing station on the network.
Yeah.
Because of the buildings behind.
Yeah.
And I've never seen anybody. Rod Stewart is the only guy I've seen do skyscrapers.
Yeah.
And I thought, that's a challenge. And when I was on the road with the specials, we always used to get lost at Milton Keynes. So it's and I was just when we go through, but and I said to Phil, what will allow us to do, which nobody's ever done before in model railways, we can bring one of the pendos into the bay, into the platform, and put one through at 130 miles an hour.
Oh wow!
So nobody else can do that.
Yeah, yeah.
So you've got one pull in, and then another one goes straight through.
Yeah.
Wow. And I think that is what really entertains kids.
Yeah.
I think that's like whoa.
Yeah, yeah.
So they'll see this year and they'll go whoa, but when they see they've got a station in the middle where everything's going like this and passing and racing, and then this one takes over there.
Yeah, yeah.
We push this one by Northampton, and so they lose it and it comes back in. So that's the plan. Like everything else, I've got to convince all the others.
Yeah. Although it doesn't sound like it's too difficult.
Oh, it is. No. But Dave, that's our baseball guy. Without him, we can't do anything, and he's going blind.
Oh, okay.
So he's really, really up against it. So I don't want to tax him too much.
No.
So I want to drop on him lightly that he's got to build 12 more baseboards for the back.
Yeah.
I mean, he'll do it because he hasn't got a lot. He's got to be kept busy. He loves it. But Dave's the greatest moaner in the world. If there was a prize for a moaner, Dave Douglas would win hands down. Hands down. On camera the other day in my TV series, he actually admitted you could wind him up very easily. We just fell about laughing. We all went, we can't believe you said that, Dave. Well, I am. So, Dave, we all know that.
Yeah. He's loaded you up now.
Yeah, well, but he's a part of the family, and he's a part of why the layout works, which is important. So, he sometimes has to be coerced into sort of thinking it's his idea or doing it.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's so chuffed with this layout.
So he should be like just for my.
Yeah,
it's
yeah. I mean,
it's really impressive. So then, what do you hope you'll get out of this exhibition this time around? What do you think?
Well, raise
what do you hope?
As much money as we raised last year, which was a lot of money for
Yeah.
the church. So we're hoping we're going to do exactly the same this year. We've got a magazine that we're selling this year. Hornby magazine have done us a special.
Oh, brilliant.
So we're selling that to raise money for our charity, because obviously we're a charity. We've never used our charity at the cathedral because we've kept them very separate. Their charity is the door, and if I sell a few books, that goes into paying for any rolling stock we want.
Yeah.
So technically, we should be able to do the layout, for Christmas. Yeah. But it's all down to Phil, because Phil's got to marry the two together electronically, because this one's so far in advance of that one. And obviously, just for all the signal. I mean, the signals are a fortune.
Yeah.
Fortune.
Yeah.
We're not. Matt has sold absolute aspects, so we're not going to use absolute aspects after this.
Right.
We'll use it for the next layout.
Yeah.
But if we do the station, we'll use it. We'll make our own.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we'll make our own. We just, it's, by the time we've put the mechanisms that work, all the signals, you're talking about £1,800. Cup of tea time.
Yeah, I was just going to say before we go, tell us all when can we see this layout? Where can we see this layout? Let everyone know.
From 18th of July till the 3rd of September.
Yep.
At Chester Cathedral. It opens at 9:30 in the morning. Closes at 5. It's not open Sundays.
Yep.
Now, we could open Sundays, but I decided not to. And that's acoustic.
That's the cue.
Thank you.
Thank you again to Pete Waterman for joining us and for telling us all about that exhibition. We'll pop some links down below. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe. Follow us on Spotify and listen to us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Until next time, thanks for watching and we'll see you later.